Gratitude.
Ownership.
Leadership.
Discipline.
All right, we're here. Big win. You survived the monsoon.
That's right.
Against Putnam City.
Yes.
That was very, very, very exciting. It definitely added a new element to playing.
Yeah.
You played with a wet ball all night long.
It did. We actually had a bunch of coaches' kids that kind of went and cycled them in and out and did a really good job. So it's kind of the unsung heroes of the game was a bunch of little guys, Rick McConnell and Cooper Clark and my little son Case, and they ran them in and out and kept them dry all night. So they did a really good job.
Okay. Of course, we were dry in the box.
We were high and dry.
Yeah.
And your select coaches were too.
And I understand we've changed the game this week we're playing tonight, Thursday night.
You're correct.
But we played last week in the rain. We played so well. I thought
Yes.
you might want to play in the
I
rain
know.
this Friday night.
Right. No, the rain doesn't bother us. The lightning was what kind of scared us. As far as that's why you've seen a lot of OK preps, teams and moving. And really, I think the majority to Thursday is just because of the potential of severe weather.
Well,
Obviously tomorrow, Friday, and they're district games, so you have to get them in. And I know for us, with we have INFC championships, Little League championships all day Saturday on Cox Field and at Bill Jensen Field, and so it just kind of made scheduling a little bit of a nightmare. So Thursday made the most sense.
Well, I know with Ponca City coming in, they would have to drive. It would be a delay, a lightning delay if it was. It would get
Right.
them back late. They'd be driving in bad weather. So, in honor of Ponca City coming so far, it
Yeah.
makes sense to
Absolutely.
move it up, as well as give all the kids, all the students, athletes, an opportunity on the best field conditions as possible.
Right, and I think some of the moms didn't, want to spend their senior night, walking with their son with, maybe makeup running and hair knocked down and all that
And
stuff.
raincoat
too.
where you can't see who they are.
Right, so I think it made the most sense, and we've had a lot of positive, that came from the decision.
Good.
All right. Before we get to senior night, because that's probably probably what we need to talk about. Let's go players of the game. Let's go players of the
Yeah.
game. Who did you guys have?
Yeah, players of the game this last week. I really, could have won a lot of guys. Offensively, it's still Wassel. Still, went over 100 career touchdowns, which is crazy. That's a lot.
Right.
I'm not saying that the paper reach out to me and they're like, is that a record? I'm certain that's a Choctaw record. I don't know what that is, as far as statewide goes or anything like that. I was like, all I know is it's a lot. That's a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, if you think that doing the quick math, you're a 3-year starter. It's you're scoring over 3 touchdowns a game, through 10 game regular season, which is pretty impressive. So he was our player of the game. Really handled the pressure well. The PCO is a really good defense, and he's able to handle that. Navigate his way through that. So made some on-time throws. Under pressure, wet balls, all those kind of stuff. And did a really, really good job. And defensively is Cam Hunt. Cam Hunt at corner did an absolutely fantastic job. Was locked down on the outside. Had a big interception, a lot of tackles, and just played super, super hard all night. And those were our players of the game.
Well, they call me every Friday night on 107.7 for a wrap-up of the Choctaw game, and they always ask who the player of the game is. And this week, I just went with the whole defensive team because,
Right.
they limited Putnam City to 87 yards in the first half.
Yeah,
They
that's wild.
locked them down. They didn't score. Putnam City didn't score until late in the game.
Mhm.
So, it was just a whole defensive team playing really well
Right.
this last week.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of broken record every week. Talk about just Coach Clark and our defensive staff just do such a good job, and our kids play so hard, and and we've been able to just kind of cycle through a lot of different players, and credit to the kids and coaches that just continue to keep the standard of lining up right, communicating, getting 11 hats to the ball, and do that every snap, and we call it Havoc D, and they've just done a fantastic job, so it's been really, really good.
Well, and on the broadcast, we sometimes count the score as like 2-1 and 3-2, and what that means is how many offensive touchdowns, how many defensive touchdowns
Right.
we scored. So
Yeah.
Right. It's not the score of the game; it's just who's put the ball in the end zone, and it's
Right.
been really exciting this year to watch the defense be able to put the ball in the end zone as often.
It's
as
made
they have.
some of the games a little more exciting
Right.
where you're competing offense versus defense. My offensive player of the game was actually the offensive line.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Because I would see they were doing cover zero, if that's a thing,
Yep, it is the thing.
man to man, and then we're sending everybody in the sludge, in the nastiness. They were
Right.
making blocks, and they were given opportunities for Steele to make a play. they're opening up some lanes for your running backs to
Right.
make plays. And so, it's hard to pick one because,
Sure.
like, how can you be a superstar offensive lineman without your four brothers?
Right, absolutely.
So I really like them, but
They did a great job, absolutely. And like you mentioned, 6-man pressures all night. So obviously 5 blockers are sending 6. You're down one every snap, and did a great job just kind of navigating through that with all the twist game and stunts and things that we were trying to pick up, and did a really nice job with it.
all right. So everybody's least favorite and everybody's favorite night is coming up here, senior night, because
Right.
everybody likes to see these guys, that have been growing up in the program. Some of these kids have been growing up in the program since 2nd grade.
Right.
And some of these seniors that I've seen is like, well, I saw them play young. I was like, yeah, they got good hustle.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, they're making a difference
Mm-hmm.
junior, senior year. And so, like, I feel a lot of pride seeing how they've developed over the
Right,
years.
absolutely.
In my small part in their mathematical education, but like, how do the coaches feel? What do you want to say about senior night as on the coach's perspective?
Well, as you mentioned, it is really bittersweet. You're really proud of those kids, and you know that you'll lose them eventually. But I say this every year. I feel like, but it's been a really special senior class. I feel like these guys have been here since as long as I've been here. Going into year 6, and I remember these guys in 7th grade. When I got here, and I just felt like you kind of have been a part of their life, and they've been a part of my life for a long time. And yeah, it does get you a little bit choked up and a little bit sad to think about it because, like, I don't know, you don't know what you'll do when they move on, but you're really proud of them. And there's the men they become, just watch their maturity levels and, on and off the field and just everything they've given to Choctaw and just how much fun they are. This has been a really fun group of kids to coach, very low maintenance group, very hard working group. And it's a lot of fun. They show up consistently every single day. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. And so it's a very special group of kids, and we'll miss them. It just kind of dawned on me, this morning where I'm like, half the seniors across the state are done, after tonight.
Yeah.
Because they're not moving on to playoffs. We feel like we're just getting started. We feel fortunate to that. But yeah, it is definitely bittersweet. Very proud of them, but also going to miss them greatly.
And one thing about senior night is that and for us it is different because we're going to the playoffs, definitely.
Right.
But that last game that they play, it will be the very last game some of those
Yeah.
young men ever play,
Right.
suited up as a team in uniform, while others get the opportunity to go on and play at the next level.
Right.
So it comes with both dimensions as you're looking at your seniors of those that this is the end, as well as this is a new beginning for these others. But as a team, it's a unity and it's a team as they come together, and it's really special, but it's 2 different levels on all of those students.
Well, football is a very unique sport, and there's a little social media post about this, and it really is true where, it's to my knowledge, the only sport I can think of to where, you are totally immersed in it, your whole life revolves around it, off season all year, summer, 7-on-7, season, repeat, on and on and on since these guys have been, little kids. And as you mentioned, like when it's over, it's over. You're not going to the YMCA and playing
Right.
football. You can't go down to the local park and play a game. There's the other sports like basketball. You can go get in a rec league. You can get in a adult softball league. Adult baseball. All these kind of things. Golf, tennis, you name it. But when football's done, it's done.
Yeah.
And what's kind of and I think our kids understand this, but even sometimes it's like, hey, I want to go play college ball, and we've had a good track record of providing those opportunities for kids. Seeing a lot of kids at college, but like even a lot of the kids that go to the big Power 5 schools that everybody wants to go to, they come back and what do they say? I miss high school football.
Yeah.
They loved high school football because you get to college and it becomes a business.
Yeah.
Where you're just another guy, and and that's not to knock anyone or anything, but bottom line is those coaches understand that like you are it has to be performance based. And a lot of those guys miss playing high school football, and so it's like even the ones that do quote live their dream and everybody's jealous of because like, man, this guy's at X big college, but that kid's coming back, and we know privately on the phone he's like, man, I miss this, like this was fun, like I felt like I had a relationship with the coaches, my teammates, we had a lot more fun, all that kind of stuff. And so it's a strange game in that regard, because like I said, you're just totally engulfed in it, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And it is a sad deal. So, but I always tell those kids like, like being a champion lives inside your heart. doesn't need to be on your fingertips or in a trophy case. It's like just what you get from the game will always be much greater than what you actually physically receive, from it. So it's the greatest game on earth. Obviously, I'm biased, but had a profound impact on my life, and that's why I'm still a coach.
I do like to point out when we talk about people having the opportunity to play at a Power 5 conference, one of the biggest differences is when our superstars go up to a Power 5 conference, every single person, the worst person in a Power 5 team is a superstar in high school.
Right, absolutely.
So
Right.
they're using the high school as a stepping stone, but it's a lot of competition. It's a lot of work, and everybody is
Absolutely.
every bit as good of an athlete
Right.
as the best the state has to offer,
Absolutely.
period.
Right. So, as you mentioned, everyone on those campus was Johnny All-American.
Yeah.
Back at his high school.
So just making it means that you're a pretty special
Absolutely.
individual. And so in high school, we've seen over the years very special athletes at various schools.
Right.
But we've had the luxury
We have.
the last couple of years to see some incredible special athletes, not only on the field, but outside the classroom as leaders and stuff like that. And I think this year there's a lot of leaders that I think are going to do a lot of good things, not necessarily on the football field, but in life with their
No
leadership
question.
and what they've gotten from being part of a program that has been consistent since secondary school.
Yeah, no question about it. And, to echo your point, it's like, I step back sometimes in practice because you have, you name it, I could literally name, 50 kids, but just like, hey, we're going to need you to play this week, or, you're going to have to do this because so-and-so, had this or whatever. And it's always like, yes, sir, whatever it takes. There's never bat an eye on what it is. And, that's why we will have some kids that are kind of maybe a little bit physically looking out of position where you have smaller O-linemen or, or whatever, bigger DBs or whatever it may be. But the kids are always just whatever's best for the team and whatever it takes because they feel that connection with their brothers. They feel that connection to the team and they just want to win. They just want to win. And I think that, what a great life skill for, being a grown man. Because we talk about all the time, like, my house, I have 4 boys and, dad eats last. You got to make sure you take care of the kids. And like when I always tell them the most selfish people on the planet are babies. And you don't want to raise a whole team full of babies. Because as as fathers, you have to do whatever it takes to try to provide for your family and be unselfish. And those guys know that.
So you're a brave man. Like I am physically competing with my.
You're eating first every time. Yeah.
They are not. Well, not usually. I'm competing. It's
Right.
it might be gone.
I'm not quite there yet, so maybe here in the future.
Well, Coach, after tonight, we look to be 9-1, one of the
Right.
best years that Choctaw's had in its history.
Right.
It's been a really good year, and the team has accomplished a lot of things, and they've reached a lot of their goals. But along the way, we've had some conversations, and what I've been impressed with is that you were concerned about the kids that got hurt. You were concerned about them, especially season-ending injuries, about how they felt and the effort they put in and the work
Right.
they put in. And you're concerned for the kids, you're concerned for your athletes, you're concerned for the program supersedes ego, supersedes wins and losses. You don't talk about wins and losses, you talk about the students and the effort they put in and what they've done. And I don't know how many people know, but you're the second winningest coach now in Choctaw history after Bob Brock. And all of that's come and gone, and it hasn't been a highlight for you as far as your outlook. It's been just something that comes with success. And so for what you do and who you do and the relationships you build, I just want to say thank you for everyone, for making Choctaw putting it back on the map as far as football goes, and again, the attitude, the care, the concern about your kids, your coaches, and the others. And just as you said, you put yourself last at home. Sometimes I think you put yourself last here at the high school and football program. So,
I really
so
appreciate
thank you
that.
for all of that.
Well, thank you. It's very kind of you, and I really appreciate that. And it's never been about me, and never will be about me, and I appreciate that very much.
Well, I think this is a great closing statement. So let's enjoy senior night, because we're coming on a little early for senior night. And so be there. We're going to be there probably 30 minutes early.
Yes.
And let's go enjoy Watching the Jackets win their first district championship since 1981 is what my historians on the
Yeah.
Twitterverse said. And so let's enjoy the senior night and know that unlike some senior nights, this is not the last night that we
Not
get to
done
see him
yet.
play on this field. That's going to be in 2 weeks. And so we get a little bit of bittersweet for 2 weeks in a row. So
We're ready.
we're ready. All right, until next time,
Thank you, gentlemen.
stay classy, Choctaw.